We're down in Burton in Lymington, and it's because we've been inspired by the Axopar 28, which I managed to get out on a couple of weeks ago, and we thought it was so good that we had to get its rivals down, get them into the Solent together and give them all a good going over. So here we are on the Paragon 25 Ranger, and it may not be as sleek and sexy and sporty as the other three boats, but I tell you what, out there today I was on this and I was glad I was. The extra weight, the protection of this really tall windscreen, the fact that you've got the single Volvo Penta D4 300 back there with mountains of torque just to shove you through those waves, it really felt like the business, and that's what separates this boat apart. It may be £150,000, which is more expensive than the other boats, but you can probably do more on it. You could get across the channel and you can sleep on board comfortably. And although outright speed may not be as high as the other boats, we got about 37 knots with a bit of help with the tide. The handling is actually really good fun. It's got a single stern drive, so the grip on the water is totally tenacious. It heels over more than any of the other boats actually. It's really good fun, but at the same time planted. So when you're out in the big waves like we were, it feels very reliable and dependable.
We're on board the Deco 27 RS, which is a member of the Windy group of boats. But rather than being branded a Windy, this is Deco, which is one of their smaller open sports boats. So it's got the same very nice deep V hull as the Windy boats, but it's an open plan layout, more affordable, big 300 horsepower outboard on the back. It's a really usable day sports boat. So the helm position feels quite high compared to the rest of the boat. You've got this relatively low screen in front of you, so it feels a little bit like you're sitting on the boat rather than in it. But it's very well positioned, everything's laid out nicely, the throttle's perfectly positioned, and it picks up speed really nice and smoothly, not too much of a hump. Overall, it's a really usable family sports boat. It's fast enough to give you a thrill, but it's not going to frighten you. And above all, it's a very usable boat when you get there. You've got all this storage, you've got that dry locker, you've got a sea toilet, you've got a really good predictable hull, and plenty of space for as many guests as you want. Really nice, sensible, usable, quick boat.
We're down here on the XO 250. It's a very unusual boat in some ways. It's got two characters which complement each other very well. It could be just thought of as a real driver's boat. It goes really well. It did 44 knots over a two-way run with the single 300 on the back. Handling is fantastic, really sure-footed. Grips like crazy, but not so much that it's going to disconnect your internal organs in the turns. It's a very nice soft turn, albeit a very precise experience. But the other thing that I think is so outstanding about this boat is the level of practical detailing, which makes it a very usable weekender as well. There's a very easy 10-15 second sunbed conversion. And the other thing, which I've never seen on a boat of this size, is a canopy, a folding canopy, not just a bimini, which hides behind this seat area here, really nicely integrated, very quick and easy to deploy. And altogether it makes a package which is both practical and very fast. You know, if you want something to get to A to B as fast as possible on something that's only 25 foot long, this is a terrific little boat.
So we've just been out into the Solent to do part of our photo shoot and give the Axopar 28 a bit of a blast, and let's just say it certainly lives up to the way it looks. Performance isn't rip your head off fast, but it's very quick and so smooth. That's the other thing. This 250 horsepower Merc 4-stroke is just so smooth in its delivery of the power, and the boat nips up onto the plane into the blink of an eye and onto a top speed of about 43 knots. Considering we've got this big sail up, that's pretty impressive. And of course there are larger engine options as well. In terms of the handling, it's beautifully weighted, lovely and light. Obviously it's all fly-by-wire, as are the throttles, but there's certainly enough to feel there that it doesn't feel skittish, it doesn't turn too fast or not too long. And as long as you feed in the power nice and gently in the hard turns, there's minimal cavitation as well. It really does grip and go. Considering how narrow this hull is and the fact that it's stepped, that's pretty impressive. I think what we can take from this day out on these 4 boats is that although they are sort of rivals, they also offer very different things. The Paragon, for example, is the one for the person who wants to cross the channel, go a bit further afield, stay on board. The Deco is an excellent family day boat, very, very practically laid out with a very good hull and just all great all-rounder, good for water sports, etc. The Axopar, fantastic value for money, really, really clever packaging and certainly one of the most exciting to look at. And the XO is just a complete speed machine. It's the one for the thrill seekers, very, very capable hull, looks fantastic, and really just for those people who want to get out there, go fast and maybe scare themselves a bit. But you can read a much more in-depth review in the May 2015 issue of Motor Boat Yachting.